So fan art, is it legal? Not really. Should you still draw some? Maybe. Care to explain? Definitely. Hi guys, designers, artists, creators, welcome back to our channel. My name is Laszlo, I'm an illustrator and graphic designer, and today I want to talk about fan art. Now there is tons of information available on this rather heated topic, and there are a lot of misconceptions floating around the web online as well, so I thought I would throw my 2 cents in. Me, who's an artist and by no means a copyright lawyer. What I think about this whole thing, I can also follow me designing a new character that also fits into this category of art. Now let's start with the basics. What is fan art? By definition, fan art is artwork that is based on someone else's intellectual property. It's art that is building on a world created by someone else, a made-up world which already has an established fan base. The source material is oftentimes a popular movie or franchise, but it could be a painting of your favorite cartoon character, a short story that takes place in, let's say Middle-earth, or a cover of a famous song, or even a portrait drawing of a famous person can fall into this category. By default, fan art is something that can only be distributed via the copyright owner's permission. Just so you know, J.K. Rowling can be assured no one is going to write an 8th Harry Potter novel without asking her first. Now, if this is the case, how come that lots of artists out there are selling paintings of Marvel superheroes, Star Wars characters and the like at Comic-Con events and online? Is that illegal? Well, in short, yes it is. But there are lots of grey areas within copyright law that people are taking advantage of and rely on. My personal experience with fan art is probably similar to most artists' origin stories. When you are young, you develop a keen interest in drawing and you sharpen your skills by copying and drawing stuff you like, right? My first drawings were definitely Star Wars and Disney inspired when I was a kid. These were straight up copies of images that I had lying around at the house. Then I went into a number of art schools where I was being told that copying is quote-unquote wrong, and while it is all good that all this media out there has inspired me to take up art as a profession, if I want to be an artist, part of the job is to be able to create my own stuff, your own original characters in your own original words, so your work doesn't depend on the audience's familiarity with lightsabers or hippogriffs or Game of Thrones references. If you want to be taken seriously as an artist, generate your own material, basically. Now flashing forward a couple years, in 2017 the hashtag FanArtGotMePaid started trending on numerous social media sites. These posts were other artists' success stories, how they have posted fan art online, which the original copyright holders have seen, and upon seeing it, they got in touch offering jobs and licensing opportunities to these guys. Sometimes a piece of fan art is just too good to ignore, and even the biggest entertainment brands recognize that. I have just seen this interview with this famous poster artist called Matt Ferguson. He was chatting with the BBC's movie guy Ali Plumb. Ali was asking him what his first big commercial gig was, and Matt said that he created this fan poster for the first Avengers movie that just came out back in 2012. The design went viral, and not long after that an email landed in Matt's inbox from none other than the CEO of Marvel Studios, asking him if he would like to do the art for the Avengers Blu-ray packaging. Crazy stuff like this can happen if your work is really good. So what do you make of all this? I think it boils down to this very simple idea that selling fan art is illegal, but making fan art, no one really can stop you from doing that. You know the artist Jake Parker, the guy who came up with the idea of Inktober? He has made a video a couple years ago in which he encouraged artists to do more fan art in order to grow their audiences. And for that I think fan art is perfect. You post your work online for the world to see and the fans will find you. They already established an emotional connection to the franchise you're illustrating, which makes them more likely to like and follow you, so you grow, and eventually, who knows, your stuff can catch the attention of some very big names in the entertainment industry. I think the takeaway is there is good fan art and bad fan art. I think good fan art borrows from an established fantasy world and builds on the material. Here my little Gungan Stormtrooper design is going to be a completely original piece. I just woke up one day and thought in the Star Wars movies there are a number of different Stormtrooper designs, but they're all based on this idea that the person under the armor is a human, which is kind of weird in a fantasy world that is full of all kinds of weird and different creatures. So I did a little Google search. Oh, and just to mention, I think Googling around and seeing what's out there in terms of fan art is essential. Just to make sure that you're creating something new and not something that has been done millions of times before. Anyway, I have found that very few artwork exist based on my idea, which gave me the go-ahead. So take the material and twist it to get something that has not been done before. On the other hand, bad fan art in my eyes is something that is completely unoriginal. A piece of artwork that is a straight-up copy, or a tracing of a photo, for example, that doesn't add anything new to the source material. I don't see the point of doing that. I mean, it's good practice. Even for this piece I have done some warm-up sketches of Stormtroopers and Gungans, designs of Jar Jar Binks, just to familiarize my brain and my drawing hand with the shape and form language that is going to be required for my design. But that's the thing, if you copy something, don't lie about it and try to claim it as your own, and especially don't try to sell it. For me, it's not just an integrated thing. I just think if you are copying an image to make an image, then effectively you haven't created anything new, right? And if you haven't created anything new, then what was the point? As you can see in my example, I am not only completely reimagining the Stormtrooper's costume, I will also base the pose of my trooper on numerous different pictures and references. Don't forget, it is okay to use references as long as you don't straight up copy them. Quick tip by the way, if you ever have to draw something that is familiar to people, like a famous person, don't just use one photo, combine two, maybe three instead, just to cover yourself legally speaking. Another good tip by the way is, if I can't find or take the right photo of a reference, I use a 3D model. A good thing is these days you don't actually need physical objects, you just install a 3D modeling software like Cinema 4D or Blender if you need a free one, and look for 3D models online. I oftentimes do this if I want to draw something like a weird object or a strange angle of something. Now, I cannot stress enough how much I am not an expert of the subject of copyright laws, so take everything I say here with a pinch of salt. I have researched the whole topic quite extensively, and I have made this video hoping that, as it is a character design tutorial, I can rely on the fact that content that is made for educational purposes usually fall under what they call fair use or fair dealing, as I am just demonstrating how to do something and talk about this whole issue. And I will not make money from this piece of work. I'd like to think that what I do here is harmless, but here's the catch. At the end of the day, it is not up to me to decide. I'm doing something new here, but I'm borrowing the parts of existing designs. There isn't a 100% legal, bulletproof way of doing stuff like this. Everything depends on the copyright owner and their opinion. If they don't like it, which is fair enough, I might have to take this video down, who knows? And there is also a valid point to mention that different brands and franchises approach fan art differently. The creators of the series Doctor Who, for example, are very supportive of artists using their characters, as I heard. Another thing that sometimes happens is brands allow artists to sell fan art for a limited time. To give you an example, in the time of making this video, Universal Studios is in partnership with this print-on-demand site called Redbubble. They are letting artists create and sell fan artwork based on the Back to the Future movies. So if you ever wanted to make some stickers out of Marty McFly or the Doc, now is your chance. Every case is different, so do your own research if you ever feel like what you're working on might be a copyright breach. What do you think about all this? Has this video helped clearing up some copyright info that you weren't aware of? Or better yet, do you know more than me? This topic is very much up to debate, so if you have an opinion, leave it down in the comments and educate us all. If you enjoy content like this, hit that subscribe button to support our channel. We are all about illustration, graphic design, concept art, as well as interior design and architecture, general art tips, insights and tutorials. Take care guys, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!